Agent Romanoff. You miss me?
Oh yeah, Charles, we got ourselves an X-Men fan.
Captain.
Your Highness.
Captain, big fan, Spider-Man. Hey everyone.
It's not every day that opportunity knocks on your door, but DC, opportunity is knocking, and you better walk through it because Marvel is vulnerable. I'm not saying able to be taken down, but is vulnerable. So jump! Hey everybody, welcome back to Film Artsy. I'm your guy, 𝘧𝘪𝘭𝘮𝘴, and today we're gonna be talking about how DC has a chance of meeting some kind of equal ground with Marvel, and that is with one critical component. That's right, James Gunn joining the DC universe, and not just joining, but taking the helm, grabbing the DC universe by the reins, and taking it to the promised land that it has so failed to get to as of late. Now, if you've been in the news at all, you know Marvel's kind of been in hot water. Disney's been in hot water because they're making some people upset, particularly Scarlett Johansson, suing Disney because they were not very happy, her and her camp were not very happy that Disney released Black Widow not only in theaters but also on their Disney Plus streaming service. Now a lot of this has to do with the contractual obligations and the payouts, which it seems like Scarlett Johansson has a pretty strong leg to stand on. But all that being said, that's the first major rumblings in the Marvel happiness corner that we've had in quite some time. Now don't be wrong, there's been things here and there, but Scarlett Johansson is one of the original six. I mean, she is one of the main Avengers, and for her to have this kind of reaction, which is basically putting a pin on them ever reworking together again, it makes you like, oh, Marvel might be in trouble. On the flip side of Marvel being in trouble, we're starting to hear some early reviews of the new Suicide Squad movie, and the reviews have been glowing. The reviews have been overwhelmingly positive. Now, don't get me wrong, that first Suicide Squad, it set the bar, woo! The reviews on the new Suicide Squad movie is that it is pretty darn good. It's a fun, bloody, R-rated comic book film directed by the beautifully incredulous, dangerous, crazy mind of James Gunn, who gave us the Guardians of the Galaxy movies that most people in Marvel enjoy. That first Guardians is a good movie, and I think James Gunn has something in the secret sauce that no other director at DC has had at this point, and that's why I think with DC waking up and saying Marvel is vulnerable, and I think we have the key to kind of really stick it in the side and maybe gain some ground here, and that is James Gunn. So let's talk about it. Now, James Gunn had a lot of situations going on with Disney. Now, whether you agree with how Disney handled his old tweets or not, obviously James Gunn had to step away briefly from Disney and step away from Guardians of the Galaxy 3, thus leaving him as an open resource to be utilized by DC. Now, James Gunn did eventually come back and finish Guardians of the Galaxy 3, but there's been multiple reports that James Gunn said, this is it for me when it comes to the Marvel Cinematic Universe. That's kind of a big hit because his kind of flavor of movie has done really well in Marvel so far, and it's kind of disappointing to see that he's going to be stepping away. All that being said, as much as I like Marvel, I am all for an equal and strong opposing force. I love comics and superheroes and these type of genre movies, and to see Marvel just dominate and DC kind of swim, but they're definitely drowning, is not fun. I would love an equal opposing juggernaut to where we get to the debate of which universe is better, because clearly we're not there yet, but I think James Gunn is the key. And it started with Suicide Squad. Why does it matter what he did with Suicide Squad? Well, the first Suicide Squad sucked eggs. It was so bad. It was so bad. It was so frustrating about it. It was so bad because it's supposed to be so good. I had such high hopes. When I went to that movie, I was so excited about what this was going to be, and then I left it demoralized. And that left a bad taste in our mouths as DC fans. Now they're going back to say, we're going to redo that. We're going to run that back, and it seems like it has been overwhelmingly received positively. Why has the change happened? Well, here's what's crazy, is Zack Snyder couldn't do it, David Ayer couldn't do it, James Gunn knows the secret sauce. Why would he know that? Because he has been in a room with Kevin Feige, who is the mastermind of the Marvel Cinematic Universe, the greatest, stringing together of multiple storylines into one coherent phases of story arcs and narratives to make this a multi-billion-dollar entertainment juggernaut. And James Gunn's like, I think I could do that too, in my own DC way. And I think that's exactly why he's the perfect solution for DC, because not only is he got some really creative flavor that does very well, especially with DC. When you're taking Polka Dot Man and making him a real thing, that's a big deal. Also, James Gunn has seen Kevin Feige do it before, man. Like, he knows the secret sauce. He's going to apply that to DC. And thirdly, why I think DC is already moving this direction is they're like, yeah, we're going to kind of do the Snyderverse, but without Zack Snyder. What they're saying is the actors from those movies, we're going to try to keep, we're already in the multiverse, and we're going to put James Gunn at the helm. Mark my words, I believe James Gunn will be leading the next charge of the DC universe. And if Suicide Squad is receiving the reviews that it seems to be receiving already, we're in for maybe a worthy foe of the Marvel Cinematic Universe. All that being said, are you excited about the new Suicide Squad, James Gunn running the DC universe, or do you think Marvel is potentially even vulnerable with this whole lawsuit situation? Let me know in the comments below. As always, thank you so much for watching. We do this content on the daily, so if you like it, thumbs up would be great. Subscribe, even greater. Slap that bell. You'll always hear from us. All that being said, until next time, I will see you later.